Hey guys, I'm gonna give you guys some final thoughts I have before the game. I touched on a lot of these things in my previous video. I'll link it right here. That's my preview and prediction video. And a lot of things I've already talked about. But these are kind of some things that I've been thinking about, since I made the video more and more. And it's been reported that Stetson Bennett will be the starter, so that's something to talk about. And I talked about that in my last video. Whether or not Stetson, if he did start, or if JT Daniels would start, and like the comparisons between the two different offenses when both are playing quarterback. But now that Stetson is starting, it kind of leads me into something I've been thinking about this week. Which kind of one of my final thoughts here is, I don't see this being a close game unless Georgia's offense just completely just sputters and drops off the face of the earth, right? And if you look, when Stetson Bennett's quarterback, the offense is not elite, right? It's good, it's okay. But when JT Daniels is quarterback, it's obvious that the offense is a lot more elite, a lot more efficient, and it just looks smoother, more gelled together than when Stetson's at quarterback. Now, Stetson's a great quarterback, right? But he's not elite. Now, you could debate if JT Daniels is elite or not either, but the offense is elite when JT Daniels is playing quarterback. And it's going to be something to watch this week, kind of something to keep note of as you're watching the game, how Stetson handles the adversity. He's never been in a crowd like this before. So he's never started. Well, I mean, he's seen crowds like this, but he's never had to start and play and prepare. Now, he prepared for Alabama, and he prepared for, the big Florida game in Jacksonville. He's played in some tougher atmospheres, but he's never started at full capacity. He started last year, but COVID, so all the stadiums are like half full, if even that. So it's something to watch just to see how Stetson plays, and just see if he makes good decisions this weekend. So I want to touch on this tweet that I saw, and I'll put it on the screen right now. It's from Trent Smallwood on Twitter. He says, Arkansas's offense is ranked 55th nationally. If you take the UGA game out, the offense would be ranked 17th in the country, just ahead of Auburn. Listen, the critics are going to try to downplay this defense as best they can, but you just can't anymore. The numbers don't lie. Like this defense is one of the best in the past several years of college football, if not the best. I mean, it's a little too early to make a lot of these statements, sure, but based on what we've seen, I think Georgia is the only offense since 2012 Alabama who's allowed less than 1,000 yards through 5 games. So the defense is playing at a really high level. It's super elite. And I was just thinking about like Auburn's offense. Like, do they really have a chance to move the ball on this defense? And I don't think so. I really just don't think so. Like Bo Nix, he's an okay quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback though. He has, like I talked about in my previous video, my prediction video, Bo Nix has some elite capabilities and some elite, he has an elite athleticism, but some of the, like, he makes some amazing plays, but sometimes he makes terrible plays. He's kind of inconsistent. And if you're inconsistent against this defense, you will not be able to sustain momentum in a game or sustain drives, sustain scoring drives. It's going to be really hard for Auburn to score on this team. And Auburn's offense is not playing consistent, but Georgia's defense is. Georgia's defense is playing consistent. They're playing the same elite style of football every single game. They go in with the same mindset no matter who they're playing, and it shows, right? It doesn't matter who they're playing. They could be playing Alabama. They could be playing Charleston Southern. It doesn't matter. They're going to play the way Georgia wants to play. They're going to play Georgia football. And it's just going to be really difficult for Auburn to move the ball on this Georgia defense, who I think is probably going to end up being Kirby Smart's best defense, one of the best defenses in the past decade, one of the best defenses possibly that college football's ever seen. It could. I mean, there's a lot of football to play, right? There's going to be a huge test this week. I think Auburn's offense is one of the best in the country, I think, statistically, or in some categories and whatnot, especially the running the ball. They're really good at running the ball. I touched about that in my last video too. But Georgia's going to have to be able to stop their run. They're going to have to do a bunch of different things, but I think they will. I just don't think, especially if we do stop the run, Auburn's not going to be able to do much at all. So the final thing I kind of want to touch on is how big of an impact will Jordan Hare have on this game. Now, we all know Jordan Hare Stadium is one of the toughest atmospheres to play in college football, definitely in the SEC. And I touched on it in my last video. All these players, like half of the players, have never played in an atmosphere like this, right? And we all know stadiums like this can swing momentum and swing the emotions. When you pull fans into a game and the home team gets the home crowd behind them, and it's a big loud atmosphere, it's really hard to play, right? It's really hard for opposing teams to play. Now, I wouldn't know, I've never done it before, but just seeing time after time after time where crowds impact game plans, you come into the game with a game plan, and the crowd and the noise and everything, it just goes haywire. Like you saw against Arkansas, right? Our fans were elite, as Kirby kept saying. Our fans basically forced a sack on the first drive for Arkansas, right? They caused 2 false start penalties. Then we ended up getting a sack. I think it was Devontae Wyatt. And crowds can have such a huge impact. You saw the Alabama-Florida game. I think the crowd had a huge impact in that game. I think if they were playing at Bryant-Denny Stadium, I don't see how Florida would have kept it that close, right? Or even have been able to come back. There's just no way. The crowd really helped swing momentum, and it's going to be interesting to see, can Jordan Hare help Bo Nix and that Auburn team, and can they cause a lot of chaos for Georgia, a lot of communication problems, false starts, all these different type of stupid penalties that can come when you play on the road in the SEC, and that'll be something to watch as well. But those are some things I just kind of been thinking about. This is a short video, kind of like just hitting some bullet points if you didn't want to watch the full preview prediction video. But I do encourage you to go watch that. It was I kind of broke everything down more thoroughly and whatnot. But yeah, those are some things that I just want to talk about real fast for the game. It's going to be a good one on Saturday, I think. It'll be interesting to see how the team handles the noise. That's probably what I'm most curious about too, is how Stetson Bennett handles the situation and how he leads the team in a hostile environment like Auburn. But yeah, make sure you share this video. It'd mean a lot. It helps me out when you share it. So if you want to share it on social media, Facebook, anything like that, it's fine. If not, I appreciate you watching nonetheless. And make sure you subscribe if you enjoy the content I'm putting out. I'm really trying to put out more, and I really enjoy doing it too. I'm learning as I go, figuring out how to get more comfortable on camera and figure out all these types of different things. But I really am enjoying it, and I appreciate you guys watching. So if you want to subscribe and comment, that really helped me out a lot. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.